we have with us Smarak Samal today. He has scored AIR-18 in CLAT PG 2025 exam. Smarak is student from RostrumLegal's capsule course 2025, and today we will get to know how he prepared for this exam and how he scored so well. Smarak, please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Thank you, ma'am, for the congratulations. I have been very fortunate student of Rostrum. So I am Smarak Samal. I am basically from Bhubaneswar, Odisha, and I am a student of National Law University, Odisha. I am currently in my 9th semester. I just gave my 9th semester exams in October. So I'm still pursuing my LLB degree. Within that, I gave my CLAT PG.
So, Smarak, what motivated you to appear for CLAT PG exam? Was this your intention from the very beginning that yes, I want to go for LLM, or this happened organically to you?
So I was very much inclined towards law from my school days. So I gave CLAT UG and got into NLUO. And while I was in NLUO, I was more inclined towards research and studies. So I had an inherent inclination toward higher studies. So as I reached fifth year, I had to decide one option for my employment and how my future should work out. So at that point of time, I thought that I should go for CLAT PG. There are mainly two reasons. That first of all is that it will give me that opportunity to go for higher studies. It will give me to learn from like NLS, NALSA and all. And secondly, it also opens the opportunity of getting into a PSU. For which many of the CLAT aspirants give PG. And thirdly, I am not into corporate as of now. Like I have done my share of internships, but I haven't found my interest in that, and I have been inclined towards judiciary. However, for my state, I'm not eligible age-wise. So I thought that let's not sit at home for 1 year, drop it. Let's go for CLAT PG. It will help me both ways. Like it will help me gain a degree. It will help me get some knowledge, and also I want to use the time to the fullest. That's the basic reasoning behind giving CLAT PG for me. PSU, higher studies, and then judiciary.
So now, will you pursue LLM, or do you want to just go for PSUs if you get a chance?
So after getting this rank, I obviously want to go for LLM. It's NLS, and I want to experience the I want to experience the learning course there. So, and if given a chance in PSU, I will still think about it. But if I have gotten admission and I have started the course, I will surely carry forward my LLM degree and not go for job, because my ultimate aim is judiciary. So even if I don't go into PSU, I will complete my LLM and then I will go for judiciary only.
Okay. So, Beta, how did you start with the preparation? Tell us the basics. How did you make up your mind? What resources did you choose? The initial stages of your preparation, and then how did you build your preparation to this level and got a rank of AIR 18?
So I started my preparation during May. So first of all, I had no idea about CLAT PG till I was in second year. In second year, there was a movie called Setsha that came, and he was in army. So I thought of, can I join army as a law student? And then when I researched, there was JAG program which takes from CLAT PG. So that was the genesis of CLAT PG. So when I came into fifth year, so I had to decide. I just said I have to go for all in for judiciary, or I have to use the particular 1 year for something. So I started in preparing in May. The first thing which I did is that what are the subjects that come in CLAT PG. I made a list of all the subjects: minor acts, major acts, the core subjects. Secondly, before preparing anything, since I'm in fifth year, I've gone through most of the subjects in my course. So I went through the PYQs, so that when I start studying, I can structure my study plan like that. I know what to highlight and what not to. It's very different from end-sem or mid-sem examinations in our college that we have to learn and write. But in CLAT PG, we have to learn the concepts and apply it. So the first thing is that I made a list of all the subjects. Then I bifurcated it, like what are the core subjects like constitution, contract, criminal law and all. Then what are the minor like JJ Act, PMLA, POCSO and all. And then I went forward with my studies. So I started with the subjects that will help me both judiciary wise and CLAT PG, because that will give me that extra motivation. So I started with IPC, contract and family law. And then I moved towards the other sectors of law. So that's how I started. And that time only, when I started researching about what are the institutions that give the CLAT PG coaching, I found Rostrum. I got very good reviews from some of my seniors, and that's how I got myself enrolled into RL.
Thank you, Smarak. And as you mentioned that you also started preparing for judiciary, may I know what all state did you focus while you were preparing for judiciary? Like
Yeah.
only in Odisha, or did you also focus in other Hindi speaking states and you covered the syllabus of other states as well?
So primarily I prepared for Odisha because since my family has a very judiciary background. My brother and father are in judiciary, so I wanted to go into OJS, like Odisha Judicial Services. But as I prepared, and my faculty members and my friends also said that if you are preparing, you can also go for DJS, because in other states they have to write a language paper, literature paper, and you don't have that like capability. So in DJs there is no language paper, so you can also go for language paper. So while I was preparing for CLAT PG, I kept in mind that whatever I'm studying, whatever learning, that will come also use in DJs or OJs, at least to the prelims point of view. So I prepared for both.
How much time did you devote in your preparation while you were preparing for CLAT PG? Like, how was your daily routine like? How much time, how many hours did you devote in your preparation?
As I said, I am in my ninth semester. I just completed my exams of ninth semester, and so the timing thing was the biggest challenge in my preparation. So we had classes from 9 to 5. So, and I was also a part of many of the activities and all. So I was also doing freelancing jobs. So the first thing when I started preparing is that I have to keep aside some. I have to do away with some things. So I left freelancing jobs, I left few committees and all. I want to state that whatever time is left after the classes, I want to devote it to CLAT PG, because when I started preparing for CLAT PG, I aimed for a PSU kind of rank, or a rank that will get me into NALSAR or NLS. I wanted to make a mindset like that. So to get something, you have to sacrifice something. So that was my prime motto. So the first initially when I started in May and June, I started with 2 3 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, and then when I went to college, the classes started from I start like classes ended at 5. I went for a bit of rest, and then I started studying from 7 to 9 batch one, then 11 to 2 batch two. So that's how I broke my study pattern. And later on when I entered into August, September, November, by November I was stretching it into 12 because I was covering case laws, I was revising the subjects and also giving the mocks. Thankfully, in our college we do have internship breaks, so November was a break for me. There was no classes. So the only routine is I wake up, eat and study. That's it. Yeah, during the exam
That's a
timing I
lot of
was
hard work, huh?
so like as I said that you if you want to achieve something, you have to go through a lot of things. So I prepare myself like that.
Absolutely. Cannot agree more. Tell us about your study materials which you focused on, and what did you focus on? Did you use any textbook, any online material, any mock test online? Like whatever study material you used, this can be really helpful for students who are going to appear next year. So, like, tell us about the sources of your study
Yeah.
material.
So, as I said, I made a list of all the subjects and I bifurcated it. Like, what are the core subjects, what are the minor subjects. For core subjects like constitutional law, contract law, IPC, evidence, and all, I followed few of the textbooks. And there is one also book called known as KGen, which is known as Duki in famous in students' language. So I followed these two for core subjects. Then for subjects which I am weak in, like PIL, jurisprudence, I don't find much of interest, and I'm really weak in those subjects. So for those, I preferred RL notes that Rostrum has provided, because they were short and very precise. And if you start studying jurisprudence book, you will not understand anything. However, RL provided a very precise note, so that is enough for the CLAT PG thing. As I went forwards, I started with the core subjects like constitutional law. I started reading books, textbooks, the Jane Pandey book, because in constitutional you have to aware of all the landmark judgments, because one judgment is connected to another judgment. So if studying just the short notes which I have made, that will not be enough. And I started with that. Like as I said, few of the subjects I started from textbook, few of the subjects from RL notes. But while revising, I kept aside my textbooks. I preferred my notes which I have made and the short notes which RL has provided, because during revise time you cannot go through all the books. So the notes which I have provided, that kept me refreshing my memory. So yes, I have studied this is the case. So if some case is just mentioned in RL note, I'm not aware of that, or I am not like remembering that I can open the book and go through it. So for the preparatory stage, I went through some textbooks and notes, mix of everything. But for the revision time, I only relied on my notes because I didn't want to waste time in reading books again. And with respect to mocks, I took each mock as a set of questions, as a set of informations. So in my mind is if I appear for 25 mocks, that is 25 into 120, I'll be equipped with more than 3,000 questions. At least 20 questions will come in CLAT PG related to that. So I went ahead with mock like that only. So for each mock, I gave the mock and I analyzed and I tried to remember all the cases and the concepts that the next day. That was my study structure.
So, Smarak, as I tell all my students for CLAT PG preparation, there are four pillars of CLAT PG which you have to focus on. First being the syllabus. We just talked about it, that you looked into the books, textbook for major subjects. You also took care of hand notes which were provided, handbooks, and then you also had your self-made notes which helped you a lot in revision. Now, talking about the other three pillars, that is your recent landmark cases, your historical landmark cases, and legal developments. How did you cover these three areas?
So I feel like whenever my juniors are asking, how did you cover that? Even you ask the same question. So I feel that's a very continuous process. Like for reading a subject, for example, constitutional, you can complete in 5-6 days. You can go through the book or notes, you can complete it. But with respect to cases, every new day there is a new landmark case. So what I first did is that enabled my notification, live notifications in live law and bar bench. So whatever cases that came up, I just went through it. Like suppose I'm sitting in a class and we know we don't pay 100% attention in class in colleges. So let me just open and read the judgment based summary of that is provided by live law and bar bench. And later on at night when I started preparing, like when I study, I will make notes of it. So first thing is that whatever judgment, whether it be constitutional bench judgment or whether any important amendment or whether any legal developments, I made notes of it so that I don't forget that. Okay, like when I revise it, I can go through my notes like yes, this is the case. So the first thing is that I made notes of every important cases, short notes, half page and something. Secondly, we know we like it gets very overwhelming seeing so many judgments. So I relied on RL also. What are the cases that they provide for each month? So RL provides a case summary of 3-4 pages. What I do is that I take the case, I study from that RL, then I apply it, like search it in live law and bar bench. That give me a more in-depth version of that case law, and I make notes of it. So that's how I prepared my case law thing. That is a recent thing. With respect to landmark judgments, I took it subject wise. For example, for contract law, there are a lot of landmark foreign judgments. I had to make a note of it. These are the subject. They're the most frequent judgments that came in mocks and previous year questions, institutional landmark judgments. So I prepared different set of cases, landmark judgments and recent. For recent judgments, it was a continuous process of studying from live law, bar bench, RL and all. And you have to be very aware, you have to show your law student skill, you have to be very curious, otherwise you cannot get over it. So that's it.
I think you have done a lot in a very short span of time. Talking about time management here, how did you manage your time during your preparation? Also, how did you react when you got the question paper in hand, and how did you manage your time then?
I will start the next last question. How did I manage my time? Uh, like this is for all the students also. No matter how much hard you study, like how much efforts you have put in, you have to be calm for those 2 hours. So the moment I got the question paper, I was a bit surprised. I was taken aback because it was a bit weirdly specific, I felt. Like these are deceptively confusing and all I find. So I took 5 minutes, I calmed myself. I like, okay, it's fine, I will do something. I have given 6 months to it. I will answer some of the questions, at least if not all. And then when before going into exam, I had prepared myself that the exam is for 1 hour 30 minutes and not 2 hours, because you have to circle the OMRs. So I don't want to lose marks by circling the wrong options. So what I did is that I considered that the exam is for 1 hour 30 minutes. I went ahead with each question. I didn't try to waste much time on difficult questions. If I don't know it, I will skip it. I'll go for the next question, and I just tick it in my OMR. And I kept 30 minutes to circle and just recheck it so that I'm not missing out on anything. So that's how I prepared for. Like I kept my manage my exam timing. 1 hour 30 minutes is my exam time. 30 minutes is for you. You can circle your OMRs and you can also recheck it. With respect to preparation, as I said, we had classes till 5. So after having classes, it was very draining. But that's why I took break. Like for till 7 I didn't want to study. Like till 7 p.m I kept myself away from all the books. I will take some rest, I will eat snacks, I will go around, hang out with my friends, and then after 7 to 9 I will study. Then from 2, like from 11 to 2 or something, I will study again. And moreover, I felt that whenever you need some kind of break, you should take it. Like whenever I needed it, I will go and talk with my friends, I will go around with my family, I will play with my pet, and then I will come back to study. And even some days where I don't feel like studying or when I'm not well, I will just go through the all the things that I've already studied. I will not study something new, I will study something that I know, that I've revised a lot. So that makes me feel that okay, I have done something in that. So yeah, that's how I managed it. Yeah.
Basically, friends and especially fur friends have helped you a lot as stress busters.
Yeah,
And
so
also, you gave a very good insight on how to manage your time during the exam. You have to make sure कि ये 2 घंटे का paper नहीं है, this is 1.5 hour paper. So in that time you'll complete the question paper and like last 30 minutes for only circling the OMR sheet. That's a wonderful advice to everyone, I believe.
and I
Students, if
feel
you're
that
watching this, please make a note of this. It's not a 2 hour paper for you. Make sure that it's 1.5 hour paper. Then it will be like way more easier for you to cover on time. Okay. Tell me about the major challenges you faced during your preparation. Like were you overwhelmed? Were you drained out at times? Like how did you cope up with it? Like all the challenges which came your way.
So, first of all, it was very mentally challenging at first because I'm honestly telling that I'm a judiciary aspirant and I know how long it takes to get into judiciary or any public sector jobs. Whereas my friends, my colleagues, and all, they were into corporate, and I can see myself that they're getting jobs and all, someone is getting placed. So when I started preparing, so that was a very overwhelming thing. I can see my friends getting jobs, getting placed. I'm not doing anything. However, I have to keep myself sane at that point of time. I have to calm myself. I have to do my work. I just focus on what I have on my plate right now. I cannot distract myself looking at others. So I knew if I do well in this particular exam, I know I have a great future ahead, no matter what. It sometimes that Three Idiots the dialogue, like no matter how much, like if friends fail, that's a different thing, but if friends stop, then that you get a different kind of feeling. So when you see your colleagues or your friends getting jobs, you do feel a certain kind of inferior complex. यार मेरा क्यों नहीं हो रहा? But at that time you have to focus on what you have. So I focused solely. Okay, they are doing great in their life. That's why they are getting their they are achieving their aim. Now it's my job to do my thing. I have to excel in this. So, and at the same time, I found 2-3 friends of who were in the same, who were preparing for CLAT PG, and they became my study mates. So if I'm not feeling like studying, I will see that particular guy, he is studying, so I will start studying. So that's how we have prepared a healthy competition between ourselves. So if I am studying and he is not, I will go. That's how we started building our the camaraderie, you can say. It was very mentally challenging at first, and secondly, time management was a very big issue with me because in our college there is a lot of pressure for submitting projects, vivas, presentations, and all. So that was the kind of thing that was a big setback for me because I was not getting enough time. But however, I think that if I am being consistent, even if I'm giving 3 hours per day for 30 days, that amounts to 900 hours. Sorry, I'm getting the maths wrong, but yeah, that's how it is. I want to accumulate it up. Suppose I have something else for tomorrow. I cannot give 6 hours tomorrow. I will try to compensate it today. So if I study 5 hours a day, tomorrow I cannot study 5 hours. I will study 7 hours today so that I can study 3 hours tomorrow. That's how I want to accumulate it up. So I was cumulative. Like for 1 month, this is my course. I will complete it in 1 month at any cost. So that was my plan.
Okay, so basically, self motivation is one thing. If you can do that, very good. If not, you can always surround yourself with people who
Exactly.
are in the same page or with the same set of like mindset. That's a like wonderful piece of advice, I believe. Like no, like thinking of it is one thing and implementing it is the another. So I think you are very honest about it, and not everyone accepts it. Like when we talk about challenges, people will say like there are a lot of challenges and I overcame them. But you are so honest and you are like telling the truth here that yes, you have to surround yourself with such people who are on the same page. Every time you cannot motivate yourself. Like you need your friends and colleagues to motivate you at times. Like I'm so happy to hear this. Like you're so honest here. Acha. Now, one last question from you. Tell me one advice which you would like to give and share with students who are like aspirants for the CLAT PG 2026. Like, what piece of advice would you like to give?
So the first and the most important advice is consistency. So if you want to go for any kind of competitive exam, you have to be consistent with your preparation. You just cannot sit around like it's for June. In December I have exams, you go around, you study a lot in June, then leave it for 2 months and then start again in November. That's not how it's going to happen. You have to be very consistent with yourself. You have to prepare a study chart. Okay, 5 hours a day I have to give it to my studies, no matter what. If you are ill and so, that is a different thing, you can cover it up next day, but you have to give a minimum of 3 to 4 hours if you want to get into a dream college. Consistency is the first thing. And secondly, if you are studying with respect to case laws, you have to make notes of the case laws. You just cannot go in end sems. What we do is that we just study the case law, we know the summary in Hindi or Odia, and we write that in our own words. That's not going to happen in CLAT PG. If you are studying a particular case law, for example, Aligarh Muslim University, you have to make notes. What each judge said, what was the pointers that they gave, what was the sections that they used. You have to make notes of it, so that when you start revising in the November, you don't have to panic by मैंने कुछ complete नहीं किया. So you have your notes, you can like read it. If you have any doubts, you can again read it from the net. So make notes of the case laws. You prepare, keep a separate copy of notes, separate copy for case laws. And third, the most important advice is keep yourself calm during the exam hours. I have seen people let the pressure overcome themselves. They are prepared very hard, but however, once they enter into exam hall, they start losing their focus. So take it as another exam, take it as another just a competition or something. Be chill and just give everything. Just think that you have given 6 months to it, 6 7 months to it, and now it's the time to like execute it. Be calm. That's it.
So I think students, whoever is listening to this, I'm just concluding what Smarak has just shared with us. First is consistency is the key. Second, you have to keep calm. And third is you have to have a good command over the language in order to ace in the exams. So on this point, Smarak, I thank you so much that you joined and you like gave these tips and tricks to our students. And like I really hope that that such tips and all the guidance which you provided, all the strategies which you shared about the preparation journey will help our students. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Enhance legal skills. Unlock success with Rostrum Legal.